Hi everybody, how are you? It's Mike Andrew once again providing a short video with practical insights as it applies to business and leadership. Today I want to talk about the notion of accountability, holding yourself accountable, taking ownership, full responsibility, being held accountable for your actions, your decisions, your own performance, and the performance and results of your team. It's about not making excuses, taking the blame if you have to. I'm sorry, my fault, my bad. But it also starts with being very clear on what your expectations are, being very clear on your assignment. In business, we tend to work with KPIs. That's how we're being measured, by KPIs or objectives. And it's holding yourself accountable to achieving those KPIs, or hopefully surpassing them. It's not about waiting till the end of the year and realize, that KPI really wasn't the right KPI. It really is not relevant. Well, be accountable, take ownership. If that's the case, it should have been addressed a long time ago. You have the opportunity to do that in most cases if you have to. And it's, another example is look at children in school, or even people that go to college. Their first year in college, away from home, there's no one looking over their shoulder to make sure they're doing the homework, but they hold themselves accountable for their grades. Some do it brilliantly, and some do not handle that well at all. I remember, here's a great example. I remember a number of years ago, there's a very prestigious United States government agency. I'm not going to say the name. And it made headlines because a number of their agents, they were overseas in a different country, and they did some things that weren't responsible. Let's put it that way. And it made headlines, and the head of that agency, the director, immediately took decisive action, disciplinary action, and also revamped some of the processes in the way they do things when they're going overseas. Well, of course, he got called in before the congressional, I don't know if it was Congress or Senate, but it was one of those committees. And I'll never forget what happened. In his opening statement, he talked about the actions he's already taken. But here's what's really important. He completely disarmed that congressional or Senate committee by saying, this office, the office that I hold, my role, I take full responsibility. I hold myself accountable for the actions of those agents. And I think he completely disarmed those politicians, because they came ready to drill him. And it was amazing to see, because now they didn't know what to do. They each had their 5-minute allotment, and they used it to make speeches like, this is bad, it shouldn't happen again, blah, blah, blah. But they realized this guy already did what he had to do. He took full responsibility, held himself accountable, took ownership of the situations. There's another time I was doing some work with a consulting firm. And many consulting firms, all consulting firms, they have to sell in order to stay in business. A lot of pressure. And this one firm, they had a big sales force and a big consulting force. And oftentimes when they were submitting proposals to potential clients, they would bring in some of the consultants or subject matter experts to reinforce or provide the right amount of detail or substance inside the proposal. And oftentimes with these proposals, it's not just one consulting firm meeting with the potential client. There's 3, 4, 5 consulting firms. It's very competitive. Only one can win the business. Well, this consulting firm, good firm, they did not win the business. So management wanted to know why. Why didn't we get the business? What happened? What did we do or did not do? What can we learn from it? So they first brought in the sales manager, that was the account manager. And immediately she started deflecting responsibility, ownership, saying that the subject matter expert, the consultant, didn't do a good job. He didn't provide the right detail, blah, blah, blah. Now, it might have been true, it might have been partially true, might not have been true at all, I don't know. But in the end, we did talk to the consultant as well. But I had to stop right there and say, wait a minute, what about you? What did you do or do not do? What could you have done differently? And she did not represent herself well by taking by acting that way about a fellow colleague inside the firm. So, to me, holding yourself accountable, taking ownership, do you know what that does? That elevates who you are as a professional. It elevates who you are. It enhances your credibility. It builds trust. And here's what's really important, because this next part is important in life as it is in business. You end up demonstrating integrity and character by having the wherewithal and the courage to say, I take full responsibility. I hold myself accountable. No one else. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.